It's been years since I've watched an anime series that moved me to tears. I've turned to anime movies recently for those feelings because I just couldn't find any show to fit my taste. But after an absolutely gorgeous trailer, Kyoto Animation has delivered Violet Evergarden, one of, if not the, greatest series I have ever watched. Violet Evergarden is a 2018 Netflix exclusive anime series produced by Kyoto Animation based on the light novel of the same name. The story follows Violet Evergarden, an emotionless girl who was once a skilled killing machine in the military and raised by Major Gilbert Hodgins. She was born into war and fighting, so once the war ends and her commanding officer dies, she literally doesn't know what to do with herself. Gilbert arranged for some of his friends to take care of Violet, and they gave her a job at the CH Postal Company, where she strives to become an auto memory doll, a professional letter writer. Violet takes this job because she wants to learn about emotion, and what love is, since right before dying in front of her, Major Gilbert told Violet that he loves her, and she has no idea what that means. From there, the series follows episodes involving Violet meeting and writing for various characters, all with their own sad stories that gradually teach Violet, and the viewer, the importance of life and love. And that's pretty much the entire plot. It's simple, but it's the best kind of simple. It's a poetic concept, really. The series does try some world building, and tries to explain the politics of the fictional war, but those explanations never get in the way, and they admittedly don't even need to be there. There's just a beautiful amount of raw emotion present in the whole series. You don't need to understand the bigger picture they tried to create, because the emotion is in the moments that they're showing you. When there's an episode about a soldier slowly dying and wishing to see his family again, you don't need to understand why that soldier was fighting, what his personality is, or even what his name is to feel sad. You just get it, and it gets you. Another highlight of this series is that it represents everything that's good about anime, with minimal amounts of that sort of iffy anime stuff. There is some anime humor and fan service character designs, but nowhere near as much as some other shows. This show strongly focuses on the story and presentation, and it's probably the most universally appealing anime series that there is. Anyone can enjoy this series because, like I already mentioned, it's simple but elegant. Of course, the series is rather slow-paced, or might come off too sappy or even pretentious to some people, so if it doesn't match your taste, I understand why you'd turn away. But if this type of story is your cup of tea, then it'll be some of the best tea you've ever had. I'm probably gushing a bit, but I really think this show succeeds at everything it's trying to do. My one minor complaint is that I would have liked maybe 1 or 2 more episodes to resolve the reoccurring character stories. Erica in particular. She's given an interesting little story in episode 2, but that simply introduces an internal conflict that's never really solved. And by the last episode, she's sort of turned into comic relief for some reason. I don't think this greatly detracts from the series, but it would have made it feel a little more complete. Aside from that, the series concludes perfectly, though apparently there is going to be a continuation in the future, and I almost don't want there to be. I think adding more to this story might overcomplicate things or make it feel less special, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what they do. I watched this series with the English dub, and it's totally fine. Some poor and sappy acting at times, but I think I prefer it to the Japanese dub. I switched to the subtitles temporarily, and I was pretty distracted by how every female character had a high-pitched moe girl voice. I don't really think that fits their personalities. It's more natural for me to hear their voices and tones in English. One last thing I want to mention, because I feel like it might be a turnoff, is that the series isn't a romance. Violet wants to understand love, but love isn't something that's exclusive to romantic relationships. It can be platonic or familial, and I think this show intentionally demonstrates that through some of its plots, so the viewer can interpret for themselves what type of love Violet is feeling. Just wanted to mention that because a few animes are gross and focus on weird age gap romances, and this certainly is not one of those. And that's about it. To me, this series is near perfect. Every episode made me cry, and this is the only show that has ever done that. Other anime have moments, but every episode in Violet Evergarden is a moment. This series teaches a lot, and it's visually breathtaking. I highly recommend it to anyone that's looking for something unique. For similar shows, I recommend you watch the other works by Kyoto Animation, primarily their visual novel adaptations. Those shows have different structure than Violet, but they convey the same sorts of themes in a quicker and more entertaining way. That's all for this review. I hope you check out the series if you're interested. Thanks for watching!